The Sermon on the Mount is one of Jesus' most famous teachings found in Matthew 5 through 7. It is a collection of moral and spiritual teachings that emphasize humility, love, and righteousness. Here are some key points from the sermon. Jesus begins by describing the character traits of those who are truly blessed in God's kingdom. These statements, known as the Beatitudes, contrast the values of the world with those of God's kingdom. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Recognizing spiritual need and depending on God leads to true blessing. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. God comforts those who grieve over sin and suffering. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Gentleness and humility lead to true victory in God's eyes. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. A deep longing for God's righteousness leads to spiritual fulfillment. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Showing kindness and forgiveness results in receiving the same from God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. A sincere and undivided heart leads to true intimacy with God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Those who work for peace reflect God's character. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Suffering for doing what is right is a sign of true discipleship. Jesus calls his followers the salt of the earth and light of the world. Salt preserves and flavors. Christians should influence the world positively. Light illuminates. A believer's good works should point others to God. Jesus clarifies that he did not come to abolish the law of Moses, but to fulfill it. He emphasizes that righteousness must exceed that of the Pharisees and teachers of the law. Jesus deepens the meaning of the law by addressing anger, lust, marriage, honesty, revenge, and love. Anger is like murder. Holding hatred in your heart is sinful. Lust is like adultery. Looking at someone with lustful intent is already sin. Divorce. Marriage should be honored and divorce should not be taken lightly. Truthfulness. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. No retaliation. Instead of revenge, respond with grace. Love your enemies. Jesus calls for radical love, even toward those who mistreat us. Jesus warns against doing good deeds for public recognition. Giving. Be generous in secret without seeking praise. Prayer. Do not pray to be seen. Instead, pray sincerely to God. Jesus gives the Lord's Prayer as a model of how to pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Worship and honor God. Your kingdom come, your will be done. Submit to God's plan. Give us today our daily bread. Trust God for provision. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Seek and extend forgiveness. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Ask for protection from sin. Fasting. Fast in humility, not for public recognition. Do not store treasures on earth. Material wealth is temporary. Store heavenly treasures. You cannot serve two masters. Choose between serving God or wealth. Do not worry. Trust God to provide for your needs, just as He cares for the birds and flowers. Jesus warns against hypocritical judgment but encourages wise discernment. Jesus promises that God will answer those who persistently seek Him. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This sums up God's moral law. The narrow gate leads to life. Few find it, but it leads to eternal life. False prophets. Watch out for those who pretend to be godly but bear bad fruit. Not everyone who says, "Lord, Lord," will enter the kingdom. Obedience is key. Jesus ends with a parable about two builders. The wise builder, on rock. Those who obey Jesus' words are secure. The foolish builder, on sand. Those who ignore his words will face destruction. The crowd was astonished at Jesus' teaching because he spoke with authority, unlike the religious leaders.